going to carry on with where we've been in Genesis, looking at science and history and some key things. You will notice both as we go through this if you're understanding what you're hearing. And if you're not, believe me, it's in there. Go to Matthew 16. And just wanted to hit on the objective for today, and that's to equip us scripturally to discern the signs of the times. And in Matthew 16, Jesus speaking in verse 2, he said, I'll wait for you. Matthew 16:2, we ready? Okay. When it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. Oh, you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? He was talking about weather, and now he's talking about discerning the signs of the times. Can you discern the signs of the times? Can you see things that are going on and discern the signs of the times? Okay, Genesis chapter 8, verse 22. We're going to start there. We're just going to hit a few points here over these few chapters, or 9, 10, and 11. Just hit some points, something to note here. And before we do, I just wanted to make mention of names. When you're looking in the Bible, and you're looking at Genesis especially, but all throughout the Bible, names are significant. They're not just tags or a sound you call someone by and they answer to. They've got to do with expressing the nature of a person, their characteristics, their attributes. But you'll also notice with names, especially in Genesis, you'll see the names related to events, present or future. Some of them are prophetic. The event hadn't taken place yet, but yet they're called that. So examples of that would just be names like Seth and Methuselah, Noah, Peleg, Joktan, Nimrod, Abraham. I mean, the list goes on. Names are significant. Don't just read through them. You might not understand them in your Bible, thinking these are hard to read. They mean something in the Hebrew. You can look it up, and things start making a lot more sense, and that when you know that. So keep that in mind. Names. Anyhow, Genesis 8:22. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. The flood just happened. They've come out of the ark. Things have changed. One of them's weather. As long as the earth remains, there's going to be cycles. There's going to be patterns. Don't let anyone dupe you. Bible. Genesis 9, and we'll go down to verse 8, and we're going to see God making covenant. And God spoke unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And behold, I will establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, of every beast of the earth, with you from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth, and I will establish my covenant, says it again, with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there be any more a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow, speaking of the rainbow, in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. God's making a covenant with every living thing in all of creation. And he's putting a sign in the sky as a token of that. Last time I looked was just a few days ago. I saw a rainbow. It's still there. That means this covenant still stands. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all the earth, and the bow shall be in the cloud. Now we'll look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant. That's the 7th time he said covenant. 7 times. In Isaiah 54:9, he says, this is as the waters of Noah unto me, as I have sworn. He swore a covenant. The Hebrew word for swear means to seven. To seven oneself, to say something 7 times, or to do 7 things to establish the covenant. Right here we see him doing that. 7. A complete, total, guaranteed covenant. So what's the rainbow for? It's a sign of that covenant, not something else. When did he give this? After a rebellion took place and he cleaned up everything and he put his rainbow in the sky. It's not for something else. You get my drift? Can you discern the signs of the times? Yes, you can. Okay, let's go over to chapter 10. Now, chapter 10, you're going to see down in verse, let's see here. We'll go to verse 6. Chapter 10, verse 6 of Genesis. Now we're going to be talking about Nimrod. The sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, who's Egypt, by the way, and Phut, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabata, Rama, so on. Verse 8, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. It's not a compliment. Don't read it like a compliment. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Not a compliment. It's not a good thing. Wherefore to say, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Nimrod, his name means rebel, rebellion, or let us rebel. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. And Babel means confusion. Confusion by mixture. So Nimrod rebelled against God. He was a mighty hunter against God. Before, in his face, against him. He was a rebel, a tyrant, defied God. So here's this covenant saying, I'm not going to flood the earth anymore. And he's asked Noah and his sons to spread out, and he gave them regions to go to. One of them, it appears, that didn't go to where they were supposed to, was some of Ham's descendants. Canaan, they were not supposed to be there originally, and Nimrod. And he is setting up his kingdom. Go to chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there, and they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, verse 4, Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Why do they want it so high? And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city. The word city in Hebrew means dark, wicked city. He came down to see the dark, wicked city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one. They have all one language. There's only one language in the earth at this point. They've got all one language. They're one. And this is what they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language. Confound. It means to mix or to overflow. More words, less understanding. You ever have a hard time with communicating with anyone? And you're saying all the words you can think and it's still not coming across? Confounded. It's mixed. It's also the root word for Babel. Confusion by mixture. So he says in verse 7, go to, let us go down, confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon all the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound their language, the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So why are there languages? Why are there nations? Why are people scattered all over the earth? It started here. So you want to know when rebellion ramped up? Here. Tyrant? Here. Nimrod trying to set up one order? Here. What happened with his one order? It didn't make it, did it? Is it going to make it now? Don't be fooled. Don't listen to the prophets of doom. Listen to your Bible. And I don't mean Christian prophets. I'm talking about them. Wicked people. All right. Now, if you back up to chapter, where was I going? 10, 21. Now, in chapter 10, it's like a parenthesis, if you will. He's giving a list of all the genealogies, okay? And he's going through Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and all their families and all that. And in them, you're going to see in things like verse 5, but these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, their nations. And it says that same phrase over and over again through this chapter. Well, that hadn't happened with the languages and all that until after Babel, which we read in Genesis 11. You get it? It's not in an order in the sense that you can just read it through and have it from beginning to end. He's adding information. That may matter to you if you read your Bible and want to know how it works. Anyways, so chapter 10, we come down to verse 25, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Peleg. Peleg's name means earthquake, or a dividing of the land with water running between it. Because in his days the earth was divided. And then his brother's name, Joktan, his name's he will be made little, or smallness, reduced in size or age. So it appears that the flood took place, and after the flood, with all the weather upheaving and the oceans getting really hot with the fountains of the great deep being broken up, you got a lot of condensation and evaporation and everything going on, and you got snow and ice coming down on the polar caps. You get an ice age now taking place, not billions of years ago, but just right there after the flood, and it's coming down from the north and coming up from the south pole. And now you got this Babel going on, and the earth is divided at that same time. This is after the flood, and the earth was divided. We have continents today. There's every evidence to prove that there was not 7 continents in ancient times. So, Peleg. You just got to look at his name. And if you go over to chapter now 11, in verse 16, Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. Now, as we go down through here, you're going to see, I'm not going to read it all just for the sake of time, but you can read it yourselves, and he gives their ages of Eber's lineage through Peleg. Joktan isn't mentioned. Joktan was Peleg's brother. So the earth is divided, and his brother's name was Smallness, or reduced in size and age. And if you look, you've got Shem in this genealogy here, and his ages. Shem was born before the flood. He came off the ark, lived after the flood. He lived 600 years. Then you got his son Arphaxad, 438. His son Salah, 433. His son Eber, 464. They're all roughly the same age, right in their 400s. But Shem was 600. And then you get to Peleg, 239. Almost half. His son, 239. His son, 230. Something happened. Something changed. And it affected age and size of everything. Us, men, women. So you see the science here, and you see the history here. And it's all in the names. It's in the account. It can be proven. You can see it yourself of where things started, why things are the way they are today, and in some ways where they're going, if you can discern the signs of the times. So who are you? What do you have? What can you do? You're a child of God. You've got his word, and you can discern the signs of the time. You're not a hypocrite. Right? We're not playing around here. So, your question for today is, in what ways do the events in Genesis 9 through 11 relate to the present day? Something to think about.
Hold fast to the word of life. Hold fast to his truth. For our Heavenly Father